I want to thank Tom and Cathy Riley for hosting this poetry reading today, and Chris Ott for recording it. Thank you. And the poetry I'm going to be reading today is recent poetry. Over the last 18 months, I've written over 200 poems, but these will all be the last couple months. And I love the idea of reading out in nature like this. I had a good opportunity to read a few times out of doors. One day, many years ago, I said to Bal Kachuri, Bal, you know, You Alone Exist should be read out loud. And he said, you're right, you do it tonight. And this was in Washington, D.C., and there are 50 Baba lovers and about 150 Sufis in the backyard of Pam Stone's house. And I was able to read it without amplification. And so I'm happy to be in this kind of setting. Some of the poetry I'm going to read today, I wrote up at our cottage in Sapphire, North Carolina. We have a cottage on Route 64, which is where Meher Baba and Mara and Meru and Mani and Goher and others pass by on their way to Oklahoma. And we feel Baba's presence very strongly there, as we do here. So some of those poems will have a flavor of the mountains. I might refer to a mountain, or I might refer to certain kinds of wildlife that we have there. And you'll probably recognize some of those as opposed to the ones I write in Myrtle Beach. But for the most part, all of them have to do with Meher Baba. There's a couple sort of what I would call light poems that are sort of thrown in there, but most of them are fairly serious in terms of the lover's relationship with the beloved. Now, Chris, it's interesting. I'm happy that you're sitting in front of me because this first poem, I was thinking about your father. Your father once said to me when I was at his studio, he said, John, sometimes I paint a painting and I wonder why I painted it. This particular way, these colors, whatever. He said, sometimes I wonder who's going to be interested in this painting. And he said, inevitably, it'd be the first painting to sell. Somebody would come in and say, oh, I've been looking for just this painting. That kind of thing. Well, this first poem, I'll tell you a story after I've read it, because I was wondering, why did I read this? And then I had an experience where I understood. Forget about it. The lengthy litany of hurtful, wrongful words, the derisive, mocking, unsmiling scowl, the shrug of the shoulders, the knowing eye wink, the purposeful neglect, the emotional abuse. Forget everything in remembering him. The residue of life sticks like glue unless you remember him in all you do. Forget about it. Forget about it. Remember him and nothing can touch you. All in his time, his love and grace. Remember him in darkness and light. All but him will disappear. This story is as ancient as the world is old. The tale is told again and again and again. The truth is a simple one, my friend. Forget about it all and remember him. So I'd written this poem, and about a week later, it was Anita's birthday. And we had not been going out for meals or anything, but we met our daughter Mercy in Asheville and had lunch out of doors at a restaurant in a nearby town. And while Mercy and Anita were shopping in a store, I made a reservation for an Italian restaurant which was on the way back to our cottage. And when we got there, the restaurant was full, and I had asked if we could be on this back porch out of doors. And the manager said yes. So we got seated, and the waiter introduced himself as Vittorio. And he told us that he had just had something not very pleasant happen to him, and that he was very happy to be waiting on us out of doors, as he did not want to be in the restaurant at this time. He didn't tell us a whole lot, but it had to do with the bartender, the woman bartender, was taking tips, evidently, from a joint tip jar, and that this woman was also involved with the manager of the store. So he was disturbed about it, and he related all this to us. So while he went in to get our drinks, our waters, and our hors d'oeuvres or whatever, I remembered this poem. And when he came back out, I said, Vittorio, and Vittorio told us, he said, I'm from southern Sicily. My family was involved with the Cosa Nostra. We moved to Brooklyn, to get away from that kind of life. And he said to us, you can call me Vito. So anyway, when Vito came back out, I asked him, I said, Vito, are you a Catholic or do you believe in God? And he said, both. I said, well, I'm going to read something to you. And, I hadn't done this kind of thing before. But I had it on my phone, the poem, and I read about it. I read it to him. And when I finished, he came over and embraced me. And he said, I want a copy of that. I want to put it on my door of my apartment, and every day before I go to work, I want to read that poem. And so we did. We made a copy. We brought it to him the next day. Well, we had a power surge at our property last week, and several of our appliances burned out. So we had to go out for meals. So I called to see if we could get this outside seating at this restaurant, because we hadn't been there since Anita's birthday, July 12th. And we went there, and the first thing we saw Vito out on the back porch, and from a long distance he goes, forget about it. anyway, that's the story with that one. How great you are. Nobody knows. Nobody can fathom the unfathomable. Words are like balloons filled with empty air. Nothing can begin to describe the indescribable. The lover knows the limits of intellect. What do you see when you look into his face? Does the world disappear in the ocean of his eyes? Are you left standing on the floor of infinity? The lover knows the limits of experience. Where are you when you are lost in him? Does the body, mind, and heart even care? Where are you when you are not with him? The lover knows the limits of longing. When does the broken heart go for repair? Does heart's blood remember its pathway to him? The path of this vessel is in his hands. The lover knows the limits of devotion. The lover is limited by his imagination. He seeks the beloved in each passing moment, knowing he is helpless and hopeless. The beloved is his near and far horizon. The poet-lover realizes the ancient truth. He is only able to give what he has received. If he is fortunate, his words will express the gift of how great you are. Tightrope. You didn't say if, you said when you fall, knowing I might fall again and again. I walked this tightrope. I lurched and tottered without you. I walked with an unsteady gait. I found myself suspended over a gut-wrenching void. Now I walk this tightrope with only your remembrance to uphold me. Your name is my light and beacon. I am bereft and befallen without it. It is my safety net. I walk this tightrope through disasters, tragedies, and cataclysms. My heart repeats your name with every step. You are my balancing pole and equipoise. I walk this tightrope across the deep canyon of life. You are my center of gravity. Your unseen hands prevent me from falling. God reveals himself. We all see what we want to see. We all are experts at the seeming reality. We all see through the lens of our impressions. We see the shadow world with varying degrees of light. This morning, I saw your face in a clump of dirt, smiling between a dahlia and a black-eyed Susan. Would I have seen you if I had not been looking? I spend my time searching for you everywhere. Yesterday, I heard two people talking about you. One spoke quickly, assuredly, inspired by love. The other was a politician, a polished speaker. He spoke slowly, confidently, making it up as he went along. Some follow their own conscience to the ends of this world, justifying themselves before God. Others obey the beloved in all they do, bowing down to him in their hearts every moment. The world is a magpie. The world is a contradiction. Listen closely, and you can hear the truth. Between the mimicry and gimmickry, there is only his silent voice to be heard. Whether your eyes and ears are open or your eyes and ears are closed, God reveals himself every moment. He is always here, always near and dear. Your compassion. I gave myself to you as your slave, unknowing of the outcome or what this might entail. You accepted me as your slave, knowing my fate was sealed. I saw the twin stars of helplessness and hopelessness on the distant horizon. Little did I know those stars were only in my eyes. Now I have come to realize those states. They have crushed all hopes and dreams. What I didn't know was this state of uselessness. I call out to you. I entreat you. I beg you. Slave I've truly become. There is no remedy or medication for this pain of separation. Your compassion is destroying me. Your thievery is your generosity. Your cruelty is your great kindness to me. You are taking my mind and body, slowly but surely. You have stolen my secret hopes and desires. I gave you my heart freely and willingly, without hesitation. My heart repeats your name with every breath. How can I complain? Your prosecution is my persecution and exaltation. I find you in my deepest grief and in my overwhelming joy. Destroy me, dismantle me, beloved one, so I cease to exist, and there is only you. This next one's called Visitors, and we have bears up where we live, and we see them regularly on our property. And this one day I was a little concerned because I saw a little bear cub go right by our front door, and I walked to the back of the house and watched him just sort of disappear into the woods. And I was concerned because usually, you'll see the mother with him, but I didn't. So this you'll get an idea of what goes on here. This is titled Visitors. My abode is the wilderness. I receive visitors unexpectedly. They do not come of their own accord. Your emissaries bring me messages. This morning, a bear cub passed the front door, alone, separated from his mother. He scampered into the shadowy woods. I said a silent prayer that you would watch over him. You give forbearance and perseverance in the dark forest of this world. Noontime, a deer appeared outside our door. That self-same deer had ravaged our garden. Hostas, hydrangeas, phlox, and tiger lilies all gone. She stood triumphantly, her eyes locked on mine, her newborn standing beside her. I sent out a silent prayer to you, realizing what appeared as greed was selflessness. New life abounds in you. Sitting and gazing in the early afternoon glow, a hummingbird, hidden in the ferns, flew up, then still and solitary, looked in on me through the screen. Hovering, his wings humming, he delivered your message, unimaginable tidings of boundless joy. Late that luminous afternoon, feeling distant from you, contemplating my aches and pains, meditating on my ills and woes, suddenly a swallowtail swept by my window and beckoned me outside. The butterfly's hieroglyphic wings pulsing, gradually bringing my heart into rhythm, the master rhythm, the master's rhythm I felt. As this messenger, your envoy, brushed my cheek, circling me again and again before it flew home to the infinite sky. I fell into your eyes. I fell into your eyes and into a fathomless chasm. I fell into your eyes and through the floor of this world. I fell into your eyes and disappeared into the bottomless void. I fell into your eyes and into the vast unknown. Falling and falling, I fell past friends and family. I fell past trees, flowers, brooks, and streams. I fell further beyond my past, present, and future. I fell until I could fall no more. Everything was left behind. I ascended into the heaven of your all-embracing arms. I fell into your eyes. Everything goes to him. The slow dance of stars, moons, planets, the clockwork of constellations, galaxies, solar systems, the sweet dawn blushing with heaven's light, the welcoming kiss of each new day, the promise of every horizon, whether sun or storm, the gentle closing of evening's curtain, everything comes from him. The song of the air, the toil of this earth, the cry of pain and anguish, the silent joy of the recluse, the loud noise of the gregarious, prayers, poems, curses, hopes, dreams, aspirations, the unformed, deformed, reformed, the congenitally happy, the incurably sad, each thought and deed, every spoken and unspoken word, all imagination, everything goes to him. Fish out of water. I swam in your ocean. I glided and dived the blue-green water. I slipped away from my school in the shallows. An angelfish had told me your name, to follow the light of the sun, not the eddies, currents, and tides. I found shoals on the reefs, found shelter in nooks and crannies, found sustenance and nourishment there. But the light was dim. Darkness and denizens were in the deep. I discovered I was not like other fish. I spent my days looking for the luminous and numinous. I was attracted to refraction. The waves, a glorious kaleidoscope of light. I reflected on the beam, the gleam, the glow. I forgot about my school, the reefs, all I had known. I found no shelter anywhere. I broke the membrane of the infinite sea. I breathed the air of a new life. I saw the sun everywhere. Everything became the sun. I became a fish out of water. Breaking. There is no sound to this breaking, not unlike the gentle rain that keeps falling. As I gaze upon your face, the sound of your name enfolds me, keeps me from falling into the cracks of this world. Everything is broken. You visited just the other day. Even the rain stopped for a moment. The sun in silence announced your visitation. You revived me from my slumbering self. The clock stopped. Time stood still. Then the bird sang. The light changed when you departed. This morning I heard a song. It had something to do with love. I get lost when I hear that word. I forget everything but you, like an infant crying in the darkness, not knowing when the presence of love will return. This one's for you, Theus.
Me?
Yeah. Signs your heart is broken. When you prefer the bitter to the sweet. When you look for the kick rather than the kiss. When your cup is always empty. When you experience the despair of the mind. When you wake up singing Muddy Waters. When your shades are drawn on sunny afternoons. When you always walk with your eyes on the sidewalk. When there are no threads left on the arm of your chair. When you watch reruns again and again and again. When you've forgotten how or where to eat. When delivering phone books seems like a glamorous profession. When the phone you hear ringing is never yours. When depression becomes your middle name. When you've read that same page 17 times. When the sky falls on you every evening. When you realize you've become a clown in the circus. These are signs your heart might be broken. And of course that has nothing to do with you whatsoever. The steps to his door. Now, I'm sure some of you must do something like this. I've been to Baba's Samadhi so many times that I can remember the steps to the Samadhi. I can remember how it feels to put my head up against the warm stones on the outside, how it feels, the coolness of the marble, all that. So this is just, sometimes in the middle of the night when I'm saying my prayers, I make a visit to the Samadhi. The steps to his door. Let us go then. Follow me there. Time cannot enter here with its restrictions and conventions. This is the calm, dead still of night. Watch our footsteps as we circumambulate. Every step remembered. Every step a beat, a remembrance. Heart's steps repeated. We circle your resting place, your eternal resting place. The stone is warm to the touch. Place your forehead there. The sun has warmed it for you. This sacred touch of skin to stone. Your hands caressing the warm surface, waiting for all eternity to enter this door his abode. The moment is here and now. You bow, touching head to cool marble, leaving everything there, the dust from this dream at his lotus feet. In the mountains, it's always a wonderful sound when you hear distant storms, distant thunderstorms echoing across the valleys in the mountains. The title of this is Only You Know What Broken Is. Too many days of thunder, the echoes and reverberations through mountains and valleys. Still no rain. Only you know what broken is. I fail again and again. Dry thoughts in a dry season. The dull sound of my own noise keeping me distant from you. Today I saw a shadow on the horizon. The light momentarily changed. A harbinger, maybe a promise. I live my life that way, looking for any sign, any signal from you. Only you know what broken is. But you do not answer. Maybe this distant thunder is your reply. Last night, I saw a flashing in the distance as I fell into a fitful sleep. Was it you who woke me with this cloudburst breaking? You are the answer to every prayer. Only you know what broken is. All in all, before I picked up pen and paper, you were already a part of my poem. First lines are important, not that all lines are not. I have no idea what I will write, how any of this will turn out. But like anything I do, I have complete faith in you. Now I am approaching the middle. You are more than a part of this now. You are becoming ensconced within. Everything I write will speak of you. Speak is not the word I want. How can I begin to say who you are? You are the tears pooling in my eyes. You are the ink forming on this page. I have forgotten everything. Why is there no sound? Nothing. Maybe I am remembering you, the subject and object, all in all. You knock me down. I cannot stand without you, without your help, your assistance. I am wobbly, bent and twisted. I am gnarled like a banyan. Like that tree, I put down roots. I put down roots wherever I hit the ground. Whenever I fall. I have fallen so many times, the earth knows my name. The ground receives me like a brother. I am kindred. I am family. I have been humbled. I am on my face, the soil in my nostrils, the scent of your lotus feet, as my hands reach for your ankles. entwined in you. Forgetfulness and remembrance. I've forgotten what my friend told me yesterday. I remember it was something about something. Today I will call and ask him to remind me when I forget about it. I am forgetting so much these days. Like that fight I had at Dinky's Field. The entire 8th grade class assembled to watch when Fred Upshaw challenged me. Did I really fall through the ice in my heavy coat and boots? How did I rise to the surface? And how could 2 5-year-olds pull me out? My brother remembers everything. He is always relating incidents from our childhood. I listen on the phone nodding yes, while all the while I haven't a clue. I remember those I love. In the darkness I say their names. I ask you to keep watch over them. I rely on you to remember too. After all, there is nothing worth remembering except the moments of love, the times I forget myself, and remember, there is nothing but you. One time, and this is unusual because this happened twice with me. Once in Mondeley Hall, I was alone with Erich, and Erich turned to me and said, do you know the meaning of, what? No. Do you know the meaning of jihad? And I said, well, Erich, this is long before, we begin to hear about jihad all the time on the news and stuff like that. This is, I guess this must have been back in the late 70s or sometime. And I said, well, I've heard, Erich, that it means, what did I say? The war or some kind of war, holy war, And he said, looked at me and said, it's the war within. It's the battle between a higher and lower self. So I always remember that, and I always think of that, that this is all a war. It's all been depicted by the avatars and the perfect masters, that it's all a war. So anyway, this is called Keep Dying. Very happy little title, Keep Dying. It started as a dust-up, escalated to a skirmish. Lines were quickly drawn. This battle has become all-out war. As in military pursuits, there is a greater good. Who and what is preserved, who and what is sustained. There is nothing but destruction here. This war is within. The battle between higher and lower self. Casualties mounting. No quarter given. People talk about the fog of war. There is a certain truth to that. This world is a myopic fog. Only the sun can reveal reality. Death is the desired outcome. Life flows for this purpose. The pendulum swings. The wheel turns. Keep dying and live eternally. Nowhere without you. If I cannot express who you are, Reveal what you mean to me, your beauty, your love, your compassion. I will put down this pen. I will write no more. There is nothing worth describing. There is nothing worth depicting. There is absolutely nothing at all without your sweet assistance. You make these words come alive. You give shape and form to the ink flowing on this page. You become the image and likeness. There is a link, a reciprocity between the hand and the heart that flows beyond understanding. Only when you are active, only when you are here. There is a curtain separating us. I experience this most every moment, except when I completely forget myself and remember you, only you. Tear this curtain, this veil separating us. I cannot begin to do it myself. I have laid my head and heart at your feet. I am going nowhere without you. Dream house. This dream house has innumerable rooms. I walk gaudy halls promising pleasure. I travel corridors of unmitigated pain. I do not linger here, nor do I find shelter. I walk through the darkness of this world with you as my lamp. Your light dispels the shadows. Your light reveals my path. I call your name whenever I feel lost, whenever I can't find my way. You always hear me calling you. You answer before I ask. Your hand and mine, we pass through the dark night. I do not stumble, I do not fall, with you by my side. Doesn't matter if my eyes are open or closed. When you walk with me, my steps are assured. You are my road, my direction, my home. Jigsaw puzzle. Before I got out of bed this morning, I dreamed of a jigsaw puzzle on a table. I cannot remember what it represented. The image evaporated when I awoke. This world is a jigsaw puzzle, broken and without resolution. We all want to be whole, the pieces in the right places. We cannot do this alone. We try and fail again and again. We are born to seek completion. We all have a vision of unity. I look to you to put me back together whenever I fall to pieces. There is no puzzle here, only your compassionate hands. You make everything whole. This is your greatness. We see only one piece. You see the whole picture. Omnipresent. I know you are always here, always with me, even though I do not always feel your presence. Omnipresent you are, attending to your creation. Life teems and abounds in you. I am growing older, my body aging. I look to you for the small things, things that were insignificant or nearly so, the things that I almost took for granted. I look at your photos much more often now. I get up and walk over to them, touching your feet in this one, your hand in another, saying your name again and again. In the darkness, in my bed, I revisit these photographs of you. I can see your every expression. I bow down to you night and day. I know you are always here, always with me. Your sweet nazar always upon me. I know this as surely as I know your name. Meher Baba, my beloved, my Lord, my everything. My helplessness knows no bounds. My helplessness knows no bounds. It is endless as my longing in the night. It is as continuous as my hand knocking on your door. This abyss cannot be fathomed. I cannot laugh or cry at the tribulations of the world, having experienced each and every one of them. I watch the world pass me by. It is all a passing show. Until you, I did not know where I was going. Until you, I did not know where I came from. Until you, I was nowhere at all. My helplessness knows no bounds. Last night, I awoke to the beating of my heart. In dream, I heard a knock on my door. You are always giving me indications. I receive them like the beggar I've become. Only you can see my helplessness and need. Only you know the remedy for my woes. The full moon is rising in my chest. Your effulgence filling the vessel of my heart. Avenue of Dreams. A lot of these poems have to do with dreams and dreaming. I think you all can relate relate to that. Anyway, there's a great it's Stay With God. Baba very cleverly inserts 3 little discourses, and there's one at the very end called, I think it's called Dreams and Dreaming, and it's just says it all, really. It's wonderful. Avenue of Dreams. I walk these streets alone. I almost know the objects, the surroundings. There are always people walking by. I hardly know them. I rarely recognize them. I seem to know where I am going. There is a destination of sorts. There are many complications along the way. Last night, my phone didn't work. Even if it did work, I don't always remember the number or know if the person I am calling can be reached in my dream or not. There is an emptiness, a hollowness during and after these dreams. I experience this while asleep dreaming, also when I am awake dreaming. Yesterday, hurrying while doing nothing, I got a splinter in my finger. Standing in front of your photograph, I saw suffering on your face. I would gladly endure this pinprick of suffering for even a splinter of your love. You dissolve my every dream, every illusion. You awaken me to realize I am never alone on this boulevard of dreams. The answer to every question. My beloved unfolded the lotus of my heart. He very carefully placed these words in my mouth. I have taken my pen and faithfully recorded what was revealed and how it happened. I had awoken from yet another unpromising dream. I asked you if we could stop this unproductive show, whether your divine furnace could burn everything that keeps me dreaming. I was becoming poetic in this night of nights. Somehow I told you all that I wanted to say. I could find no rest in this beyond. God only knows what else was said. I remember your name being spoken. It became second nature, a magic carpet. I left this material plane and all its encumbrances. I saw you and heard what you had to say. Believe me, brothers and sisters, I am writing this with my lotus heart unfolded. I am writing before the angel of dawn takes wing. I hear these words ringing, singing in my veins. God, the divine beloved, is always with us. Never forget to take his hand. Always tell him everything. He is the answer to every question. This may be the last one. This is the last one that I wrote a couple days ago. Your beauty, compassion, and love. Every day I witness your beauty, compassion, and love. My tears helplessly fall from my face. I am reluctant to wipe these gifts from my eyes. I sit or stand and gaze at your bounty. Your gifts arrive on a silver platter. I imagine your hands carefully wrapping them. How can I ever take you for granted? You are the giver of everything and nothing. Whenever I feel this pain and longing might end, I receive a fresh supply most unexpectedly. This suffering contains many problems, difficulties, and obstacles. It is hydra-headed and without solution. I have revealed my plight to you. I have expressed my every concern. I have asked you to help me. I need your help so much more these days. This morning, before the dawn bird sang, I was more than thinking about you. I was covered in you. I was awash in you. I had hoped I would be with you again. How can I begin to say how compassionate you are? When I awoke this morning and opened my eyes, I saw your sweet face looking at mine. A shaft of light on your photograph revealed everything. Now we can either stop right here, Chris, or I can read a few of my old poems, just,
Well, you're at 55 minutes, if that makes any difference for you. That's all.
I think that's probably about enough then. And unless you want to hear one more or two more or whatever.
Do one oldie.
Huh?
Do one oldie.
One more.
One oldie.
One oldie, okay. Let's see what do you read here then.
What do you say, Tom?
Oh, okay, yeah.
One more.
One more? Okay. Thank you. Help me remember you. Help me at each waking, ever-expanding moment, and every horrible, startling, fitful nightmare, in the continuous beat of the helpless, happy heart, in the battle with despair, despondency, and depression, in the war with the devil of the darkest deep, in the shining light of the never-ending day, in the exalted exhalation of numberless breaths, in the contraction of waiting and still yet waiting, in suffering, sickness, injury, and ill health, in the cries and laughs of a loving lifetime, in the impossible made more than humanly possible, in the food I thankfully put in my mouth, in the multitudinous, mellifluous sounds that enter my ear, in the walking of this glorious and radiantly beautiful path, in the joy of hearing and repeating your sacred name. Help me, beloved one. Always help me remember you.
Dear Baba.
Can't have a better ending than that.
Oh, good.